naming rights opportunities, obviously on the arena and the Sports Performance Center, the courts. There's a lot of opportunities, and we continue to have interest and support, and we're grateful for that. And you know, our development team stands ready and excited to continue to get people engaged. You know, I would say historically, you know, when you talk about a vision, it's hard to sell it until they actually see it happening. And so I think today is our opportunity to show not just all of you, but all of our, you know, Pitt fans and the Pitt Nation and Panthers everywhere, that it's really happening. And if you've been a part and you want to support all of our student athletes and the concept about comprehensive excellence, there's a way to do it. And so it's moving, and we're certainly excited about that.
That vision obviously started before the pandemic. What impact did that have on the planning? Any changes that either it forced upon you guys or gave your team and everyone involved chances, I guess, to reevaluate and say, hey, let's do this, because we normally wouldn't have because of changes that had been made?
Right. So we did announce it January 14th, had no idea that there was a, you know, worldwide pandemic approaching us. And I think the only change that happened was really, it was about a pause, about a year pause. And again, I would just credit Chancellor Gallagher and our Board of Trustees for staunchly staying supportive of this vision and project. We continued to work on refinements. What do we really need? What's the best use of the space? Do we need, you know, 4 volleyball courts, 3, 2? You know, we did some value engineering throughout that process just to see what was the greatest use of the space and the funds. And then we really just paused about a year. And so this will open in the fall of 25. Originally, we designed it to open in the fall of 24.
What'll happen to the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse? You guys keeping it, repurposing it, renovating it?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. Well, currently we have our track teams in there still. So the last phase of Victory Heights is to build an indoor track and band complex. And obviously we had announced that, you know, Herb Douglas's name would be on the indoor track. And so we owe it, that's gonna happen. So we're gonna build an indoor track and band complex. And once that is built, then we can vacate the field house and the university will determine really the best use. There hasn't been anything definitive decided on that space, but it will become university property.
Can you remind me where that track and band?
Yeah, so it's gonna go where the current dome is right now. So we will take down that dome. It was it's a temporary structure, but there's a new chiller plant that they had to build first. That actually, if you come up the back way, I don't know the names of roads, so I apologize, but if you come up the back way, I think that's how they say it in Pittsburgh, right? You turn right, you go around the back way, whatever, where this building used to be or that gas station used to be. It will be right next to the new chiller plant that's built. There's a flat piece of property, believe it or not. And that's where our indoor track and band complex, we've never had a home for our 300-person band. And so that will be a awesome opportunity for them to have a home as well.
Heather, obviously the architecture is different than in other places, but what do you like that's truly unique, you think, about this facility compared to, say, others that you saw?
Yeah, I would say the elevation factors, right? The fact that it's not on one flat piece of property and you start on one level, you know, you enter the door on the ground level and you walk all the way through it and you enter on the exact same level. So I think the fact that we were able to incorporate a lot of natural light is going to be, you know, just great for the spirit, for the mental health of our student athletes. From a training standpoint, you see the sun when it comes out here. And then the views of the cathedral, the views of the rest of the campus. So to be able to connect to the back of the rec center via walkway, I think is going to be really cool as well. You can come into the rec center, go up to the 5th floor, come out on the green lawn, on the rooftop lawn. So I think it just has some really unique, everybody says you can't build it here in Pittsburgh, how can you build it? And you find a way, right? And so I think the way that it's going to be situated within the campus with the rec center and the dorms and the Peterson Event Center and the flow of traffic, I think is going to be unique.
Is there a target date for the track and band facility?
Yeah, I'd like it to be 1 year behind.
To 26?
Yeah.
And is the rec center, for the general student population, is that a separate project with a separate timeline?
It is. That broke ground about a year ago. So the rec center, which is going to be, again, a game-changing project here on campus, much, much needed. I don't even think our students know how awesome it's gonna be. It is 9 stories, pools, you know, fueling state, smoothie plate, you know, places to gather, practice gyms, basketball courts, all sorts of climbing walls. There's all sorts of amenities in that rec center. That will open in the fall of 24, so literally like a year and a half from now, almost, a little bit more. And then the Arena and Sports Performance Center will open in the fall of 25, and I'd love to see our track open the following year.
About the aesthetics,
Yeah.
I don't find too many athletic facilities that look this green. Talk to me about how important that was and the sustainability of this entire project.
Yes, so, and I'm not an expert in sustainability language and verbiage, but I will do my best. So, yes, it was really important. The green rooftop was not inexpensive, and it was important from a sustainability standpoint. They are working on the LEED certification, and you know they're going for the gold LEED certification. We haven't, that is a process that the construction team does. There's also stormwater reuse and repurpose in the way in which the infrastructure of the campus is with the chilled water plant. So there's a reuse of water built into the stormwater sewage piece of the project. And it's really important, you know, sustainability, right? Having green environments, recyclability of things, that's really important in today's day and age when you build. The other, you know, from a technology standpoint, to be able to build new arenas, we obviously have the ACC network. Our teams are good, so they're gonna be on the ACC network, so we're able to build in a lot of those elements that we had to, you know, add here at the Peterson Event Center. We had to add Pitt Studios and the infrastructure. In this arena, we'll have the planning ahead of time to be able to do the technology as well.
Heather, you mentioned you've already raised $12 million in this naming rights opportunities. Is 2 years enough time to raise the remainder of what you need?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, 2 years is enough time to continue to raise money. We will debt service the rest of it, whatever is not, and that's in our financial plan over the next, you know, years.
You mentioned how the new place is going to be able to host concerts and other events as well. Will the Peterson Event Center, I assume, still also be part of that, and how will that balance out with different events?
Right, so currently ASM Global is the management company that runs the Peterson Event Center for us and does an exceptional job. We have not formalized an agreement with them with the new arena, but we're hopeful. I think that would be an ideal situation because they would have 2 venues here to be able to capitalize on opportunities that come their way. And yeah, they're exceptional. They know, you know, we've been able to bring acts here that we hadn't done, and we're starting to utilize this building in more, you know, ways when we can, you know, create revenue opportunities for both buildings at the same time. You know, we're excited to be able to host ACC championships, other types of championships. We just had the NCAA regionals for gymnastics here. So we will continue to do those sorts of partnership opportunities, and hopefully ASM Global will be our management company in the new arena too.
So you touched on it a second ago about the how you compare to other facilities around the country. Talk a little bit about how this is going to compare to what you've seen from some of the bigger schools around the country.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody, you know, your facilities matter. They make a difference. You know, everyone says leadership matters, you win with people, and that is without a doubt the foundation. You have to have the right coaches, and you've got to have the right student athletes. But in today's competitive world, everybody has invested in facilities, and across the board, not just football and basketball, right? And so when we look at our competition in the ACC and in other conferences, other Power 5 conferences, these are very comparable. We're not going to be, I think we're going to be over the top because of the look of the building and the fact that people don't expect it. You know, when I've sent it to friends and the colleagues in the industry, they're like, where is that, you know? And so I think that is going to be the surprise factor that Pitt did this, and ours will be exceptional, but they'll be very comparable with what we compete against, you know, from a volleyball standpoint, wrestling, gymnastics, and then to allow, you know, soccer, baseball, softball, lacrosse, swimming, they're all going to be training in these world-class brand new facilities, which will really elevate their experience. I mean, everybody, all of these people are currently in the field house. Every one of those teams.
We are approaching 11:45. As Heather wraps up, just so you know, Coach Capel is going to come in. They'll do graduate
Questions, but is there any update or finalization on a potential extension with your position at Pitt?
No, there's nothing new.
Okay.
We plan on keeping her for a very long time. How about that?
Okay.
I'll step into the breach
Gotcha.
and be the spokesperson.
I report to
in
EJ.
that regard.
Don't we all?
Yeah, yes.
Nobody at my house does. I can assure you that.
I wanted to ask, I mean, just as, you build this new facility, you're bringing more events into this area of Oakland. I'm just sort of looking at the map. First of all, does Aliquippa Street move? Do you have to, are you still bordered by Aliquippa Street where it is?
On the top part, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it does not move. If you've been up there, obviously on the, past the dorms, they've reconfigured it as it comes down through, and it doesn't have the same curve that it once had, and it's still closed off, it's still under construction. But no, Aliquippa will still border on that side of our facilities,
Right.
yes.
And then, so I'm looking at that facility, the Pete, and then, you mentioned the track, the band complex, sort of on the other side, in between, a lot of parking. Is there, because you're gonna have even more events, is there even more of a priority that you have to keep that parking in place? The OC lot, the trees, I mean, are those sort of untouchable areas as you keep
Yeah, I would say
looking at
nothing's
facilities?
untouchable. I mean, because, we all reconfigure, you have to have a vision and you have to plan out. A lot of these events, students are coming to, they're walking to, but no, I mean, fans, we will keep those lots until we don't need them. Maybe the field house turns into a parking garage. There's opportunities, we have ideas around the spaces that are available, but I would say nothing's untouchable.
Anything else?